Cambridge Analytica embroiled in a controversy over its handling of Facebook user data. Cambridge Analytica and its British parent firm SCL Elections Limited are shutting down. SCL Elections and Cambridge Analytica will begin bankruptcy proceedings after losing clients and facing mounting legal fees in the controversy over reports the company harvested personal data about Facebook users beginning in 2014. The leader of a protest movement that has rocked Armenia has called a pause in a campaign of civil disobedience, seeking assurances that the ruling party will back him to be the next prime minister. After a day of protest that brought parts of the country to a standstill, a senior official with the ruling party hinted it may be willing to back Nikol Pashinyan when his candidacy for the premier's job comes up for a vote in parliament next week. A Puerto Rico Air National Guard transport plane crashed near Savannah in USA's Georgia during a training flight, killing at least 5 people. The Hercules transport had 5 personnel aboard when it went down near the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. Georgia Air National Guard spokesman says that the 4-engine aircraft was on a training mission. A New Jersey-bound Southwest Airlines flight made an emergency landing in Cleveland after a window pane cracked in flight. No one was injured in the incident, which came 2 weeks after an engine on a Southwest 737 ripped apart in flight and shattered a window, killing a female passenger in the first U.S. plane passenger fatality since 2009. Lawyer Emmett Flood, who advised President Bill Clinton in impeachment proceedings, will assist President Donald Trump with Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russia's role in the 2016 election. Flood will be replacing Cobb. The latest lawyer shuffle comes as the question of whether Trump will agree to an interview with Mueller appears to be coming to a head. The United States announced the first transfer of a prisoner from the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center under U.S. President Donald Trump, lowering the prisoner population at a facility Trump has signaled he would like to repopulate. The U.S. military said Ahmed Mohammed Hazar al-Darbi's transfer to Saudi Arabia brought the prisoner population down to 40 detainees from 41. The last time a prisoner left the facility in Cuba was on Jan 19, 2017, the day before Trump was inaugurated. Iowa's Republican-controlled legislature passed the most restrictive abortion ban in the United States, outlawing the procedure after a fatal heartbeat is detected, often at 6 weeks and before a woman realizes she's pregnant. The Senate voted 29-17 to pass the House of Representatives approved bill. According to the legislature's online voting tallies, the bill now goes to Republican Governor Kim Reynolds, an abortion opponent who has not said publicly whether she will sign it into law. A fourth group of Central Americans from a migrant caravan that angered President Donald Trump crossed into the United States to seek asylum, while dozens more worked to a rainy, cold third day camped outside a U.S. port of entry. More than 20 people, mostly women, children and transgender people, had been waiting at the U.S. gate for about 15 hours, according to the group's organizers, raising the total number of migrants who had crossed to about 50. Mike Pompeo has been formally appointed the U.S. Secretary of State. During his address at the swearing-in ceremony, Pompeo said that North Korea must commit itself to dismantling its weapons of mass destruction. Pompeo had visited Pyongyang over the Easter weekend to lay groundwork for the meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Korean leader Kim Jong-un. China's foreign minister arrived in Pyongyang becoming the highest-ranking Chinese official to visit North Korea in years as Beijing tries to mend fences with its nuclear-armed neighbor. Wang met his North Korean counterpart, Ri Yong-ho, during his two-day visit. The minister was greeted by Vice Foreign Minister Ri Kil-sung and other officials at Pyongyang airport on his arrival. A 17-year-old in Texas has been arrested for allegedly plotting a mass shooting attack inspired by the Islamic State at a local shopping mall. The FBI and local police said that high school student Martin Assisi Yarnad has planned the attack for midday and had sought to recruit others to participate in the shooting. Authorities also said that he had drafted a message to America justifying his planned attack. The teen is currently in custody and bond has been set for $3 million. About 3,800 artifacts, including Sumerian cuneiform tablets dating to 2100 BC that were illegally smuggled to retailer Hobby Lobby stores, were returned to Iraqi officials in Washington. U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement officials signed over the artifacts to Iraqi Ambassador Farid Yassin at his Washington residence, with some of the artifacts laid out on a table. Iran's ambassador to Britain said Tehran will consider walking away from the nuclear deal if the United States withdraws from the agreement. Hamid Badini Judd said that Iran would be ready to go back to the previous situation if America pulls out of the 2015 pact as threatened by U.S. President Donald Trump. The envoy said that U.S. exit would mean that an important party of the treaty has abrogated and violated in clear terms the treaty. European Commission President said that the European Union will not accept threats in talks with the United States to secure a permanent exemption from U.S. import tariffs on steel and aluminium. U.S. President Donald Trump has extended a temporary exemption for the European Union until June 1st, although European Union officials have said that it would not clear what Washington wants. British Prime Minister Theresa May hosted a UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres at the 10 Downing Street in London, where she is said to have discussed the issue of ex-Russian spy poisoning row. The Prime Ministers raised the poisoning of Russian former spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia within minutes of meeting Antonio Guterres. Suicide bombers stormed the head offices of Libya's Electoral Commission in Tripoli, killing at least 12 people and setting fire to the building in an attack claimed by the Islamic militant group. The assailants also opened fire on employees of the High National Election Commission. The attack appears to be aimed at derailing efforts to organize elections in Libya by the end of this year, part of a UN-led attempt to unify and stabilize the country after years of conflict and political division. Basque separatist group ETA has announced it is fully disbanding, marking the definitive end to its deadly independence campaign and to Western Europe's last armed insurgency, which was created in 1959 at the height of Franco's dictatorship. ETA waged more than 4 decades of killing and kidnappings in its fight for an independent Basque homeland in northern Spain and southwest France, leaving at least 829 dead. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Mahmoud Abbas of anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial after the Palestinian leader's suggested in a speech that historic persecution of European Jews had been caused by their conduct. Jewish groups and diplomats also condemned Abbas's comments. Mahmoud Abbas's comments came in a speech to the Palestinian National Council, where the Palestinian leaders said that the Jews had suffered historically not because of their religion but because they had served as bankers and moneylenders. Abbas also repeated claims that he made in January that Israel was a colonial project encouraged by Europeans who wanted to be rid of their Jewish populations. Burundi launched the official campaign for a referendum on constitutional change that could enable President to stay in power for another 16 years. 26 parties, most of them aligned with the ruling CNDD-FDD party, have been authorized to campaign for the May 17th in the politically tense Central African nation. Facebook says that it fired an employee accused of bragging on the Tinder app about his access to private user information. The incident comes as Facebook faces global concerns about personal data privacy, including congressional hearings at which Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg testified. A Twitter user earlier posted about the Tinder conversation along with screenshot saying that Facebook's security engineer is likely using privileged access to stalk women online. French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday called for the creation of a new strategic alliance among France, India and Australia to respond to challenges in the Asia-Pacific region and the growing assertiveness of China. On the second day of a visit to Australia, Macron said that the like-minded democracies should forge closer ties. Over 100 people were taken into custody after violence on the margins of Paris's traditional May Day march, which saw a McDonald's restaurant ransacked and clashes between police and protesters. Authorities said some 1,200 protesters from anarchist group, the Black Blocs, were involved, many of them masked and dressed in black. Under tight security at Africa's oldest synagogue, Jewish pilgrims staged their biggest religious ceremony in Tunisia since a 2011 revolution undermined security in the North African country. Hundreds of pilgrims prayed, lit candles and wrote wishes on eggs in a two-day pilgrimage to the El Kriba at the popular tourist island resort of Djerba. A former coach of the Brazilian national gymnastics team has been accused of sexually abusing athletes he worked with. TV Globo show Fantástico interviewed 40 current and former gymnasts who said that Fernando de Carvalho had abused them by touching them inappropriately and watching them shower, among other incidents. Following the report, he was fired by a local community center where he worked. A judge in Myanmar declared on Wednesday that a witness who said two reporters accused of possessing state secrets were framed by police was credible, dealing a blow to the prosecution in what has become a landmark press freedom case. The judge accepted the testimony of Police Captain Mo Yang Nai, who said a senior officer had ordered police to trap one of the two journalists arrested in December. Britain's Prince Harry and his bride-to-be Meghan Markle have selected an open-top royal carriage for their much-awaited wedding and are looking forward to the procession through Windsor. Harry and Markle will ride in an Ascot Landau carriage when they take a tour through the town after the wedding ceremony at Windsor Castle. The carriage procession will see the couple ride from the castle through Windsor. The World Health Organization's report on the quality of air features 14 Indian cities on top of its list as the most polluted. The North Indian city of Kanpur leads the pack of polluted Indian cities. Indian capital city of Delhi was the world's sixth most polluted city, according to the WHO. Actress Sonam Kapoor and Anand Ahuja are set to get married on May 8th in Mumbai as per an official statement by their families. The Kapoor and Ahuja families take great joy and pride in announcing marriage of Sonam and Anand. Since it is an intimate affair, we request you to respect the family's need for privacy, unquote. Johnny Depp has been sued by his ex-bodyguards who have alleged that Depp made them work in dangerous circumstances which exposed them to illegal substances in addition to not paying them their wages. They added that they were asked to monitor unstable individuals in Depp's life and entourage. The duo further alleged that they didn't receive their mandatory meals and rest breaks. Amitabh Bachchan has said that everywhere Hollywood has gone, it has destroyed the local industry. Big B added that they have the money and the expertise, the quality and quantity. We are fighting against them. He also revealed that he was once told in 1993 in New York, "Better get your house in order because India is new frontier. Americans are coming."